Hey y'all, it's me, Poppy, back with some Stranger Things vibes. Y'all are probably gonna be like, Grilly, where have you been? And 2025 just kind of took it out of me, and I needed to take a step back and really reflect on who I am and what my purpose is, which is bridging gaps between spirituality and science. And specifically in today's video, I want to talk about my experiences with consciousness and kind of the gateway of how I got there, and hopefully help y'all in y'all's consciousness journey, self-awareness journey, and hopefully unlocking more deep awakenings in people. So for me, I've always been a deeply curious child. I've always sought deeper meaning and understanding. I've also always been close to God. And, asking questions in church, that's always kind of looked down upon. But I was just never satisfied with the answers I got. So I went directly to God and I'm like, God, reveal yourself to me. And I've been doing that as long as I can remember. And around 6 to 8 years old, whenever I was like, God, just please reveal yourself. I want to go more. I want to go deeper. I had this revelation of this vision of this pink pulsating brain in my head. And the word consciousness just got embedded into my soul, in my heart, in my head. And it's just something that became an obsession with me. And I just had this huge spiritual download, spiritual awakening, which really inspired me to be a neuroscientist, which really inspired me to look at things from a holistic point of view. It made me realize the biases in man, the biases in church, the biases in science. And I no longer wanted to be submissive to a pastor on a pulpit whenever God resides in me. I no longer wanted to trust science that was funded by somebody else who's no more knowledgeable to get to a conclusion where I can come to a different conclusion. Like in our society, what I realized was the main limitation in our self-growth and our awareness is our clinging on to certainty. And the way I go about dealing with God, dealing with consciousness, is abandoning everything I think I know. And this allows me to perceive things in completely new lights, to reorganize the dots, to see new ways and new possibilities. And that's how consciousness works, is through abandoning the ego. I know I'm kind of jumping around a lot, so please stick around with me. But let's bring it back to the whole idea of bias that is injected through religion and science, right? Like I said, we buy into these certainties, these laws, and we are always searching for what the truth is. And whenever we do that, we're projecting our bias on an outcome because we're looking at the outcome and not necessarily the meaning. So whenever it comes to me holding on and clinging on to uncertainty, I'm not really looking for what the truth is. I'm allowing it to reveal itself to me, because I just accept the fact that I can be wrong. I no longer cling on to this I need to know. And because of that, there's no more rigidity. Pieces can move and I can see them in a completely new light because there is no constraints. And that's kind of where I've gotten right now with ego, and this is kind of the point I'm trying to make and have been trying to make this past year, is that ego is a cognitive boundary, a cognitive restraint that prevents flow from just naturally occurring. It makes it hard and creates resistance. So for me to really get in tune with consciousness, I have to step back and be an observer and not interject my own thoughts, my own experiences, and just see them as things that happen to me and not see them as a part of my identity, and realize there's something greater. And once I allow that release is whenever my spiritual awakenings happen, whenever I have deep, profound awakenings. And I can't wait to share the experiences I've had. Today, literally all of the fire alarms in my house went off, from all the ones downstairs, upstairs, and on the second floor. They all just went off at once. There was no candles, no fires. I don't know what happened, but I made a decision and spirit just tried talking to me. And I've had a lot of these experiences, and the more I break it down and tear away the walls, the pathways that I've built that have been ingrained in me, as more as I step away from society and step into myself, step into my intuition, my self-trust, that's how consciousness begins to move and begin to work. And this year, I'm going to be harnessing that more, be really digging in on that to help propel me in where I want to go in life. Still don't have a job, and that's fine. I'm on unemployment right now, so I finally have at least like a source of income, if that's what you can even call it. But I'm just learning, like, as I reflect on like that experience now, right, my first encounter consciousness, I can see why everything up to this point has happened. I can see why last year happened. I can see why college, even though it sucked, had to happen, and how everything has been preparing me for this moment, how everything I've encountered has got me to this point and is going to propel me to where I always wanted to go as a child. Like I talked in my original video of how I'm destined for great things. Like now I'm getting to a point where I'm absolutely sold on it. And it's all just from holding on and clinging on to uncertainty and taking these little golden nuggets that consciousness gives me and just being like, put it on the back burner, let it be there, but don't make it the center of who I am. Anyways, I suck at articulating shit. I might refilm this video, might not, but that's what I wanted to share today. I just need to post. I've been neglecting posting because I've just been so stressed and wanted this video to be perfect. So this is as perfect as imperfect gets. So yeah, goodbye for everyone who tuned in, and see y'all around.